Zealand, and quite simply this is winner takes all. Just before we rejoined you here, the Black Eyed Peas were booming out over the PA system here. Tonight is going to be a good night. Well, let's hope it is from an England point of view. But this New Zealand team, the world champions, the holders of the Four Nations trophy, they are no mugs. Okay, they haven't performed brilliantly in this tournament yet. But that's the important word, yet. And Steve McNamara knows that England have a big job on their hands here. But the England flags will be flying. And there's a massive support here in Hull for a local boy, of course, Steve McNamara, who is the England coach, and for two local boys who are out there on the field, Kirk Eamon and Tom Briscoe. They know every blade of grass. And Steve-O here alongside me, he opened a bottle of champagne yesterday. He drank it all himself, I have to say. But you celebrated a very rare anniversary in rugby league, Steve-O.
Certainly did. It's 39 years yesterday that Great Britain lifted the World Cup trophy in 1972. We really have not won a major international trophy since then. And I think it's been a long time since drinks. I certainly celebrated yesterday, and I can assure you I will celebrate even more if we win tonight, and then we will just be 80 minutes away from lifting that major trophy. We can do it. Last week against the Australians, you could see quite clearly that we had the confidence. We also had the skill factor. The biggest problem was we came up with too many errors. We cannot afford to have the same amount of errors as we had last week. The Australians took advantage of that, and the Kiwis will do exactly the same. If we can play to the set pattern and get the ball out wide, because we saw already last week, Briscoe and Ryan Hall certainly were in top form. Let's give it plenty of air, and I think we can wrap this up tonight.
Of course, in 1972, it was a draw that got England the World Cup. A draw will be no good for England here tonight. I know it was Great Britain in those days, by the way, but it's a draw for New Zealand tonight. They will make it through. Big night for Gareth Carbell at the back of the line there. He hasn't played since the back end of September, but he's had a fantastic season for the Warrington Wolves. And Steve McNamara knows that he was desperately unlucky not to make the 17 3 weeks ago in Avignon.
I think you're right, Eddie, and I think we've also got to look at the fact that it surprised me that Gareth Carbell did not get a run against the French in the build-up, and neither against the Welsh outfit. He hasn't played for quite some time, but he'll certainly be up for this.
As they all will, and the flags were waiting for all the supporters on the seat as they made their way into the stadium here tonight. Wave the flag and make some noise, and they are certainly going to do that. They love their rugby league in this part of the world, and they would like nothing better than to cheer an English victory that would take them through to next Saturday's Four Nations final. And the Land of Hope and Glory anthem rings around the KC Stadium. Last week, Stevie, you said, less hope, more glory.
Well, they're also singing wider, wider, and that is the key. We've got to get this ball out wide to where we have the power. I still think there's a few problems in the New Zealand defence, especially with Lewis Brown in the centres. I'm sure that Steve McNamara will have pinpointed that region, and we have to put him under pressure.
Well, Steve-O mentioned yesterday the 11th month, the 11th day, and of course that was Remembrance Day. Tomorrow is Armistice Sunday, and there will be a minute's silence here at the KC Stadium to remember all of those who have fallen in sacrifice for the nation over the years, in the wars, and of course the British fighting forces who are many miles overseas right now, and we will remember them now for a minute. on their jerseys with pride here tonight.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can I ask you now to please...
Now then, we will have the national anthems, and to sing the national anthems we have the choir sing live. It will be first New Zealand and then England, but first of all sing live for the New Zealand national anthem. Sing live with the New Zealand national anthem. England have yet to face the haka, of course, before we kick off, but now the English national anthem. So the scene is just about set. We were here, of course, 2 years ago, England in a very similar situation to this. They had to beat New Zealand in Huddersfield for a place in the Four Nations final. They managed it by 20 points to 12. But this is only the 10th meeting between England and New Zealand. The Kiwis lead 5-3 in the series. There's been one draw. And the English first met New Zealand on the historic 1908 tour. They won 18-6 at Wigan's Central Park ground. A similar result here tonight in the 10th game of the series would be very nice. Thank you very much. James Graham is never impressed by the haka. You can tell by the scowl on his face. But Isaac Luke is the man who leads the New Zealanders in the haka. It's one of the great moments of international sport, this. And everyone goes silent now as Isaac Luke prepares and the Kiwis get ready. Well, they're pumped up for this, the Kiwis. There is no doubt whatsoever. But England were absolutely absolutely unflappable. They just stood there and watched and waited for what's to come. Australian referee Matt Chechin takes control. His first NRL game came 10 years ago in 2001. And interestingly enough, both coaches, both managements have met with Matt Chechin this week to discuss and find out how he will interpret this game. This is the moment for England and New Zealand. And look, I don't want to be a harbinger of doom, but I've never seen the Kiwis more pumped than they are for this tonight.
Well, they know, and their coach Stephen Kearney knows, that they have not hit the high spots since they arrived in this country. They know that it'll be a big forward battle. They really have got to lift themselves, but England, as we mentioned, they must have got a lot of confidence out of their performance last week. I keep mentioning we have to cut down the errors. If we can do that, then the game is theirs for the taking. And the man that's about to kick off, what a key figure he will be, Kevin Sinfield. He should be the leader. If he can control things around the ruck, they're winning for a great chance.
80 minutes and we'll know who's in the Four Nations final. Deep kick-off. Kiwis will run it back. Charge is led inevitably by Ben Westwood. Thomas Luluai operating at dummy half as per normal.
Such an important part now for the English boys. Realise they've got to make it look tough and get right into the ribs of the Kiwis.
Luluai again with hands on the ball. Benji Marshall with a long and deep kick downfield. Sam Tompkins is positioned underneath it. Wonderful boost for English Rugby League and the Wigan Rugby League club this week that Sam Tompkins has signed a long-term deal, and a condition of that deal, no talks with the NRL or the Rugby Union for 3 years at least. That's a fantastic piece of news that we had in the build-up to this game. One of our brightest stars is staying with us in the 13-a-side code. Here's Jamie Peacock.
Not a bad bit of news either, with the fact that Benji Marshall, they kicked early but didn't use it. It was right down the throat of the fullback Sam Tompkins.
Graham gets to his feet, plays the ball to Roby. They go left with Chase, and Chase will ask Wilkin to come back on his inside, and he does willingly.
Good
This
play.
is the last tackle.
Good play by Wilkin as well. It's something he does at St. Helens, comes back on the angle. It's a high one.
It's a tantalising kick. Reed's after it. He was impeded, though. It was taken on the full by Gerard Beale.
Obviously, they're going to put pressure under the winger, Gerard Beale, but to be fair to him, it took that very convincingly indeed.
Two, play where you are, James, hold.
Luluai's in there again. His pass last week that set up one of the tries in the second half out wide. Well, it was a joy to watch Thomas Luluai. This now is Jason Nightingale winning his 15th cap tonight, try in both of the matches so far, as Matalino takes this ball forward.
Interesting to see how the fact that Thomas Luluai, when he came back on to the game last weekend, they certainly looked a better side of the Kiwis. That's a high one. Sam Tompkins underneath it. Oh, they've hesitated.
He's allowed it to drop. The ball is played inside. This is Kevin Locke, and here's Foran. First try for New Zealand. Well, that is a glaring error by Sam Tompkins. The referee, though, I don't think he's actually given it yet. But they believe that they have scored, New Zealand, and Kieran Foran, he made his international debut against England at Huddersfield 2 years ago.
Well, the three Kiwis on that near side, they're all right on that far side. Watch for the three Kiwis. Do they get anywhere near the 10? They're holding back. The fullback, Kevin Locke's come from an onside position as far as I'm concerned.
It didn't look as though they're offside, those three. They stayed way out of the 10.
Well, I can't believe, did someone call? Sam Tompkins, normally very, very good under the high bomb, but he hesitated, and in fact, it looked to me as though he stopped completely. Is there anyone from those three on your right-hand side of the screen? You can see the fullback Locke screaming through, applying the pressure. Oh, that is shocking. Not even an attempt by Sam Tompkins.
And there seemed to be an English player as well who turned his back on the whole thing. Was that Ben Westwood who was involved there as well? I'm not sure.
I think we might have an offside here, Eddie. We're going to look. Fullback comes from onside, but we got two runners in front of Benji Marshall here in the centre circle.
It's a question, though, of whether they get within the 10 metres, isn't it?
Well, 10 metres is quite a way, Eddie, isn't it?
That's
Look
what
at
I
the
say.
10-metre gap here. They're
No,
within
they're
10
fine.
metres from there. That's not 10 metres to the ball from where those three black shirts are, Eddie.
Well, it's up to Ian Smith, the video referee. It's pressure time for video ref call. What will it be? Will
Well,
they save Sam Tompkins?
It's a vital call, and the try is denied. 4 offside.
It's saved England an embarrassing moment there, hasn't it? Makes a big communication after a positive first couple of minutes. They're probably, what, a metre or two inside the 10-metre radius.
I think the person here is on the left of Kieran Foran, and that was offside at the time Benji Marshall put up the kick. But look, New Zealand get confidence from that. England, they got to show composure now.
It was Westwood who actually seemed to get in the way of Sam Tompkins. The two of them anyway made a right porridge of it. And well, England, I do remember saying last week at Wembley, England were robbed. They've been saved here.
They certainly have, and to be fair to Ben Westwood, all he was doing was making sure that none of the New Zealanders could put the pressure on the full back. They didn't need to. For some unknown reason, Tompkins just didn't even lift the arms.
Now then, it's Rangi Chase. He showed it to one, he gave it wide. Here is Yeeman. Big home local support, of course, for Yeeman. The ball is smuggled back to Chase. It's a penalty to England here.
That's good pressure. Matalino not happy. He came in very, very late. They didn't like it.
Former schoolmates, Eddie, Benji Marshall and Rangi Chase.
Yeah, they've been talking about it all week, haven't they? Marshall and Chase, they know each other so well.
And Benji didn't hold back, did he?
Neither did Tom Briscoe.
Benji Marshall has made it quite clear that it is war, and spicy. That's what we like to see. This is international.
Second penalty of the night to England then, and they are now just 10 metres away from the New Zealand line. Roby will have a scamper, gives it then to Hyington. He gets the ball away to James Graham. Looked to go left, had to come right. Here is Peacock.
This is where Roby now, quick, take them on, pull in the defence, straight off.
Sinfield, Rangi Chase, back it comes to Tompkins, wide it goes! Ryan Hall again, this time though the defence muscles up and it prevents him from getting over in the corner.
Great work there by Lewis Brown. You could see that the winger had come off the line, and Steve McNamara must have thought, he's on form, this fella, he'd go in at the corner. But as the winger came out of his position, Lewis Brown, the centre, came across and made sure that the big winger not got any chance to put the ball down.
Quickly down to Bill, early words off the sideline.
Eddie, Jamie Peacock's book that came out a couple of years ago was called No White Flag, and you're seeing the evidence today of why that's the title was so appropriate. He's out there, his right knee heavily strapped. He hobbled off against the Aussies at Wembley last week, and he looked in all sorts of trouble. When I was at the team hotel on Wednesday, he was in the treatment room with that right leg in a brace, but according to the England medical team, there was never any doubt that he wouldn't take his place in the England side and lead the England side here tonight. He's been involved virtually from the word go here, and you wouldn't think that he's carrying, probably still is carrying a knee injury. He's not running at the white flag.
He certainly isn't. 33 years of age, lesser beings would have rolled the white flag up a long time ago. And when he came back from that crippling knee injury, you know, it was sooner than anticipated. And here he is tonight, sooner than anticipated again, leading England from the front. Graham, though, low down this time with Wilkin to halt Adam Blair. And then Foran with the deep kick downfield. This time Tompkins takes it on the full under no pressure whatsoever. That was high from Matalino.
And that was even worse by the loose forward Jeremy Smith, who went down with the left elbow. Watch this. Okay, it was a high shot there, but that was even worse from Jeremy Smith.
Well, the tackle's a high tackle, but the next point here, if that's not a sin-bin or dismissal, Eddie, what do you get punished for in this game? You know, you hold somebody down for a second too long and it's a penalty. You drop an elbow into somebody's face and it's the same incident, same punishment. It can't be right. Could easily break his jaw.
Well, Jeremy Smith, and it was spotted too by Kevin Sinfield. And the referee wants a word with the captain. He's called Benji Marshall to him.
Had a look, forearm to the head, there's no need for it. On report.
Well, that goes on report. Jeremy Smith is on report. If New Zealand get to the final, there might be a question mark about Jeremy Smith's involvement next week.
Well, New Zealand, Eddie, and in particular Jeremy Smith will have to be careful. He gave away a lot of penalties against Wales last week and made the task for his team very, very difficult. You have to say that the person who could be cleanest and cause the referee to blow his whistle for an offence the least amount of times tonight will have a better chance of winning this game.
Chase and Sinfield. Back it comes to Tompkins, a bit high again, but this time Marshall dropped the hand.
Oh, that's got to be a flop that's coming in. Well, this referee, Chechin, is just allowing everything going on there. They're flopping, they're coming late. Switch on the left-hand side, they're a bit weak. They've gone on the right, though.
They have with Chase. He comes back in field. Gets as far as Russell Packer. He goes down on tackle number 4. Roby's weighing up the options both ways. Will now go left. He finds Hyington. Tompkins. Tompkins dances away from a couple and another. They're allowing him to run laterally, but then he gives it to Reid.
Good work by the centre, Reid. Ready, he knew he was going into the no-man's land on the short side.
Westwood's kick ricochets off a foot and is knocked forward by Westwood. It's picked up by Locke.
And Locke has got over the advantage line, though he's got into touch. This will be head and feet to England.
No, it's head and feet to New Zealand. They've got to play the ball because it's on the last.
Well, Westwood
it's the knock on. It's the knock on there. Then they get him into touch, Kevin Locke, but it was the original offence they come back for. Good hit on Mannering. Mannering, the second rower, has been brought into the centres to stiffen things up there for the Kiwis tonight. This is Lewis Brown. And he plays the ball to Luluai.
Well, they're playing into the hands of the England forwards, the way that the Kiwis are just going from dummy halves, short little pass, trying to get in a good position so they can get the kick away. That's good work, though.
2009, the New Zealanders were guilty of underestimating the English. Kieran Foran, as I say, made his debut that day. They say they're in no danger of underestimating them this time. This is a great run down the touchline here from Nightingale. Chase did well to chase him and harry him down. It's on the last here for New Zealand with Benji Marshall. Crossfield kick, and it bounces kindly over the head. It goes. They're looking for Gerard Beale. They find him, but England come out and they smother him, and it's the turnover.
He'd be happy though, Stephen Kearney. He knows he caught the England left-hand defence there, napping. It was Rangi Chase who was positioned way out on the left. This is where they come onto the right-hand side in defence.
Well, it was a wonderful ball from Benji Marshall to Jason Nightingale that allowed him to make the break down that right-hand edge. This is an important set for New Zealand, an important defensive set. They haven't spent enough time down this part of the field. They've been defending their own line or near enough to it, and they will crack if that keeps up.
He's hurt himself.
James Graham, his head went back as that tackle came in. Was it a clash of heads with Tommy Luluai?
Either way, I think it might have been the shoulder as well. Yeah, I think they got the heads together, and I think that James Graham has come off second best. Such a tough hombre, though, isn't he, Thomas Luluai?
Well, he was missed.
Not much of him, but he comes and puts in some of the big crunch tackles. Yeah,
it is a clash of heads with Luluai. Graham
on the jaw.
They won't want to lose him. He was missed when he was forced to leave the field last week against Australia. And it seems like they're all okay, but Graham feeling the effects of that head clash.
Interesting this week, Eddie, that Sam Tompkins, the England full-back, made it quite clear. Of course, a teammate at Wigan of Thomas Luluai says he's the toughest tackler that he's come up against, and was witness of that.
Got a pretty hard head as well by the looks of things. Sinfield with a good deep kick into the corner, collected by Kevin Locke though. Sinfield leading the chase. Good chase too with Westwood in attendance.
That was great. Steve McNamara, the England coach, he became happy with that. The way it was like the umbrella defence coming through. It's no good just kicking into the corner if you don't have men running downfield and then forcing them into that area.
Nightingale gets them rolling forward again. Here's Russell Packer. He was suspended and he missed the opener against Australia in Warrington. And Russell Packer comes in to the side for the first time in the tournament tonight. Nightingale again just pushes Luluai out of the way. Showed it but didn't give it to Benji Marshall. Takes the last tackle himself, and there's a problem for Kevin Locke. He felt his shoulder a bit as he came away from that previous tackle. That's another high and tantalising kick. That's very well taken by Ryan Hall. He dealt with that.
Unbelievable under pressure. Just popped the arms out and said thank you very much indeed. And it's worked its way to get the penalty.
And Eddie, there's a massive problem for New Zealand. You see Ryan Hall get in and take that ball. Kevin Locke looks like he'll have to. He is coming off the field right now, returning the ball in the tackle. He looks like he's jammed his shoulder. He'll take no further part in this. That is a massive blow to the Kiwis.
Yes, it is a big blow. Kevin Locke, only his 4th cap tonight. He played for the Maoris in the 18-all against England last year. This is his first time against England in a black jersey for the New Zealand national side. Meanwhile, this is Sinfield.
Will they use Wilkin coming back on the angle?
It's Rangi Chase who gets his hand on the ball first. Short pass away to Wilkin. Wilkin then out the back door finds Peacock. He's hounded down by his opposite captain. That's Benji Marshall. That was Sinfield, and Westwood takes it forward, plays the ball. Roby finds Peacock. He goes down on the last, right underneath the Kiwi posts.
Great tackle by Luluai, right round the ankles.
High kick there from Chase to the corner, and that's knocked forward. And Briscoe picks up the pieces. 6 to go, and Tommy Briscoe on home turf.
Needs a quick play the ball now. Kiwis struggling to get back, but they've turned him over and got away with it.
Roby and Peacock. Extra set of 6 for England. Priceless.
Second phase, who's coming? Tompkins is there.
Roby to Westwood. Westwood bounces out of the challenges, and has he got that down? No, I don't think he has. He's held up, says Matt Chechin. Good defence from the Kiwis.
Had to be as well. See how he twists the body. But they got the ball carrying arm exceptionally well. They had the numbers. Little doubt about the fact that it'll be no try.
Well, it is no try. He's already ruled he was held up. I think the PA operators thought he'd gone upstairs and asked for the video referee decision, but not necessary. Peacock again then plays the ball to Roby. Here is Rangi Chase. Chase then fires the pass to Sinfield. Sinfield finds Yeaman. He ducks under them, Yeaman, and he's just held up short of the line again by this New Zealand defence.
Got away with it there. It looked slightly forward, but good defence again. They're under the cosh. It's a good kick.
It's a great kick, but it's well dealt with in the end by Gerard Beale.
Well, you have to give Compo Morris due. That is brilliant defence from New Zealand. Delicate kick in by Sinfield, and all of a sudden, with the change, they've then got Beale there to pick up the ball. You know, one of the advantages New Zealand have over England is that 5 of their last 6 test matches, international matches, have been against Australia. They're used to grinding in tough matches here against a high-quality opponent. Intense fixtures. Okay, we're just 12 minutes into this game, but in the games against Australia, they've had to go for the full 80. And although things are going tough for them at the moment, they're riding the storm quite well.
And they are doing it without their fullback and skipper Kevin Locke. Bill?
Yeah, Kevin Locke's gone straight to the dressing room. It's a shoulder problem, and as a result of a really strong tackle by Jack Reed, among others, when Locke was trying to bring that ball out of defence. And Locke, I don't think will figure again tonight. A lot of concern on the sidelines among the Kiwis. Locke back in the dressing room.
Well, yes, that is a major concern for New Zealand. Of more concern to them is the fact that they are giving the ball away cheaply and turning possession over to England. Briscoe doing really well to hang on to that. There's pressure there on Westwood from 4, and he does well to get away from it, though. And Sinfield keeps the movement going, but Reed knocked that ball forward.
Well, they're testing their armour, England, but just a little bit of panic stations coming through.
Eddie, it is probably worth mentioning Kevin Locke. Fantastic player, and he's had a wonderful season, and he's a joy to watch. But Gerard Beale and Westwood forcing the pass, Jack Reed unable to reel it in, and referee deeming a knock on. Gerard Beale has played plenty of times. This is the Kevin Locke injury. He's a brave young player, and he plays well above his weight. But Gerard Beale, as I was saying, he's played plenty of games for the Brisbane Broncos at fullback. He's no stranger to that position, showing it and being able to defuse that kick earlier on.
So the scrum forms right on the halfway line. It's New Zealand head and feed. Foran will feed, gets the ball back from the base of the scrum. Now then, just inside England territory here, that's Lewis Brown, dummy half, and here is Sika Manu. And Luluai is marshalling his troops from dummy half again. He gets it away to Matalino here. It's Westwood upstairs, Westwood downstairs rather, Graham upstairs. And now it's Benji Marshall. And that's not the best from Simon Mannering.
Took his eyes off the ball there. Neat little pass on the inside. You'll see him just have a little bit of a look. Who's there? Tell you who's there. Chris Heitington.
Roby.
I know England are going down the middle at the moment, Eddie, but I do hope they're able to get the ball to the right side this evening. Last week at Wembley, 4 times as often they went over to the left. Here's Jack Reed now with the ball.
And he's trying to get his arms free to set Ryan Hall going down that touchline. They're messing around in the play of all the Kiwis. They're testing the referee's patience. They've already conceded 4 penalties to England's none. Here's Roby. Roby then to Rangi Chase. Wilkin takes the short pass, then gives it to Tompkins. Tompkins is gobbled up by Jeremy Smith.
Good tactics though by Steve McNamara, the England coach, is bringing up the fullback Sam Tompkins on every opportunity. They got away with that. Should be a neat little kick.
It is a neat kick by Tompkins, but it was very well read by Kieran Foran.
Not a bad option by the fullback there. Tompkins just got the fingertip to knock down the halfback Kieran Foran.
16 minutes gone at the KC Stadium, 0-0 here. The biggest ever win for New Zealand, of course, came against England in the 2000 World Cup when the stakes were just as high as this. They won 49 points to 6 in the semi-final at Bolton. And Stephen Kearney, their coach here tonight, he ran in one of the 8 tries the Kiwis scored against England. That was a bleak day for the national side. Let's hope this is going to be a good night for the national side, in the words of the Black Eyed Peas. There he is, the New Zealand coach, Kearney, and he's of course a bit of a hero on this particular part of the world. Stephen Kearney, having played a season with the Black and Whites. That's a good take by Ryan Hall, but good following up from Alex Glenn. Now Rangi Chase.
Did well, did Alex Glenn there. Realised that he would have been penalised if he took him in the air. Waited till he hit terra firma, then put him down. Interesting to see now whether England can get anywhere near the halfway line. We haven't seen a real positive kicking yet from Kevin Sinfield. We've had one into the right-hand corner, that's about it.
It was Russell Packer who got to Chris Heitington. Here's a kick now from Sinfield towards the touchline and towards the corner here, fielded by Beale. Operating now at full-back with Kevin Locke off the field. He gets as far as those 3, and Gareth Carvell is out there with Rangi Chase. He's waited and waited for his opportunity, Gareth Carvell. He now gets it, formerly with Hull, of course, once upon a time, so someone else who's back on slightly familiar territory as Brown takes it forward. Only as far, though, as Roby and Heitington.
Been impressed with the way that the Kiwis utilising the 3 quarters, just take a little bit of pressure off the forwards. I said before the game that I thought perhaps a weak link in the New Zealanders would be Lewis Brown, that England have really punished him, they've really pushed him into that corner, but up to now he's been equal to the task.
Foran's kick is angled, but is easy for Ryan Hall. Chasing by Elijah Taylor, winning his 2nd cap tonight. There he is, number 18 on his back. He played his first game last week at Wembley. It was his debut. We've got a late call up here today when Fui Moi Moi missed out on a late fitness test. He'd been a doubt all week.
Well, after a great first 15 minutes, England have perhaps just hit a lull over the last 3, and I think it's interesting now how the coach has brought on Carvell and 2 more subs about to enter the field as well, Molly one of them. Can they provide the impetus for that first try?
Here's Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
That's what it does when you play the ball very quickly, and they're allowing it. Matt Cheshing has told him to get on with it, and it's good play. Kick into the corner by Chase.
It's high. It's very high. Looking for Reed. Finds Reed. Reed can't smuggle the ball away, though. He's on his way to the sideline. Good defence from Lewis Brown.
Well, that's great defence, Eddie. Lewis Brown is 2nd rower, forced sometimes to play in the centres, and now he finds himself on the wing, playing against Ryan Hall and Jack Reed. They've done very, very well, the 2 Kiwi defenders on that occasion. That will be an area England will look at, though. 2 fellas playing out of position, and they might be a little vulnerable.
Well, there's been wholesale changes by Steve McNamara. All the subs are out there. He's got Morley out there. He's got Jamie Jones-Buchanan out there. He's got Gareth Widdop out there. I don't think the other one, got Gareth Carvell out there. The only one who's not out there is Gareth Widdop. He's still waiting his time.
To be fair, Eddie, the first quarter of this game has been rough and tough.
And it's been played in New Zealand's half, but I just think the Kiwis are starting to work their way back into the match. Some patience with the kicks. Maybe they recovered from that onslaught that England hit them with.
It's a solid defence from England. That's a wonderful tackle from Carvel and Westwood. The Warrington Wolves combination. And he felt that, did Adam Blair. Marshall with the kick, spiralling in front of Ryan Hall. Bounces kindly for him though. Hall then tips it inside to Tompkins. Tompkins sees a gap, and Tompkins is away from Marshall. And it's explosive, the pace from Tompkins. There's nobody with him though, in a white jersey. He's so elusive. They get there eventually with Wilkin. He then finds Sinfield, and Sinfield gets it away to Carvel. Ball is being kept alive. Carvel.
Well, Adam Blair was struggling to get back into the field of play, get onto that defensive line, but he just got in the right position at the right moment.
Electrifying pace from Sam Tompkins. This is Westwood though. The Kiwis defence now has re-marshalled.
And not just the speed, Eddie, beautiful footwork as well. He's laid down the gauntlet now. He's been eager to join the three-quarter line, and will he come in again? He should do. Second receiver.
It's Chase. Gives it to Tompkins. He sidesteps Marshall once more. And dabs it through, and he was a meeting a Kiwi sandwich there. They're going to get the goal line dropout.
Yeah, it was quick to say and make the decision with the referee, and said that a little bit of play acting there. But the confidence that this guy brings to the side is amazing. He made the break. Sadly, no one else anticipated it. They should have done. No second phase. And the kick through, he just run into it. There's no way that he was going to get the penalty that way. Neither of the Kiwis moved. But that's the type of play we need. The confidence will be running right through the English squad now.
Something that the New Zealanders will no doubt be building on. It's over 100 minutes now since they have conceded a try. They kept Wales scoreless last week at Wembley. Here we are now in the 22nd minute here at the KC Stadium, and it's 0-0. And of course 0-0 suits the Kiwis down to the ground. You can't play for a draw in this game. It's impossible to do that in rugby league unless it's a 17-16 score and you're under the post and you get a drop goal, but you know what I mean. But a draw is as good as it will get for New Zealand tonight. At this moment in time, New Zealand are in the final.
Don't worry, there'll be going to be plenty of points because they're all adventurous, both of them, especially England at the moment. That is a poor pass. That should have gone behind the centre.
Out of the 20.
And Newman knew it.
Well, that was the big try-scoring play, wasn't it? They'd had a goal line dropout, two players to get them to the part of the position where they pre-rehearsed what they want to do, and they couldn't execute the passes. It lets the pressure off. You want to get so many chances in a game of rugby. Sooner or later, you have to take one.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't like to be in this position if I was a Kiwi. They've played so much of the game down near their line, and that will tell in the end. The battle of territory has definitely been won so far by England.
You're right, but I mean, the longer it goes and the longer it takes England to breach the defence, do they not get some confidence out of that?
That's right. It's about building pressure. You don't have to score in the first 15, first 20, the first 40 minutes. You'll get the benefits from this later on in the game.
Here is Nightingale again, and here's the first penalty to New Zealand.
Second time in a row, mate. You're short. Second time in a row.
And this will be the first time where they've got 6 players close to England's try line. This will be the first real test of England's defence. If he finds touch here with an accurate kick, Benji Marshall will give his team a chance to show what they've been doing in rehearsals this week.
Looks like Kevin Locke is hoping to make a comeback.
Well, there's been a lot
went off looking sick, didn't he?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of the Kiwis that live in this country. They're saying, you know, that Benji Marshall really has been the administrator rather than the off-the-cuff player that we've got to know over the past 2 or 3 seasons. And they're expecting him to explode tonight. And probably this has been the first chance that the Kiwis have had. Lulawai is going to take the first receiver.
Yes, there is Thomas Lulawai. Comes back to Foran, and then they work it nicely and wide in the end to Russell Packer, beg your pardon, to Elijah Taylor.
Ben, quicker!
And Foran again. And Jared Waria-Hargreaves off the bench as well. He goes down, 4th tackle. Here is Lulawai. Look how close the New Zealanders are. Jeremy Smith. Marshall fires the pass wide. Great tackling low down by Kirk Yeaman. This is the last. Marshall slides the kick in, and it bounces harmlessly dead. England survive the first raid on their line, really.
Stephen Kinney knows, though, that's the first real opportunity they've had, apart from the try that was disallowed with the big kick. Oh, that was high. He really does walk the tightrope, doesn't he? The loose forward, Jeremy Smith, is a rough customer, that is for sure.
It's a great run by James Robbie to follow that up. Sometimes it goes unnoticed, those 15 metres and the quick play of the ball he provides, but Jamie Jones-Buchanan gratefully receives it.
He gets to his feet, plays it to Roby again. In New Zealand territory with Wilkin.
Now's the time for England to start getting the ball out, missing a couple of few players out. Not having the first, second receiver with the two halfbacks, Sinfield and Chase. The long ball, give the centres opportunity to feed the wingers.
It's a high kick, though, from Chase. Looking for Jack Reed again. It paid handsome dividends at Wembley. England get the penalty here because Reed was taken out off the ball.
Shoulder charge on the centre, Jack Reed.
Well, they're going to have to sort this out. Nobody wanted this ball. Said Lewis Brown playing in the wing position. Jared Beale, the fullback. Somebody's got to go and take that. Try and get a glove on it.
Well, it looked to me as though Taylor certainly got the shoulder charge in. The official saw it my way as well.
I think Kevin Sinfield, no, he isn't. He was almost saying then that he's going to take a shot at goal. He used the ball, pointed it towards the sticks, and then took a quick tap. He gave it to Morley. Here was Roby. This is Carvel. Here is Sinfield again. Kevin Sinfield, so close, and he's held up again.
Tackle 2, hold up.
Held up. Tackle 2. The tackle count will recommence 10 metres away from the Kiwis' line.
Now that's the reason why they didn't go for the 2 points. They know that they've been getting very close to the New Zealand goal line.
It's Rangi Chase. Gets the ball away to Tompkins, who's joined the line late. This is Reed. Reed looking for those elusive skills again, but he's hauled down this time by Alex Glenn. It's Westwood, bounced off Glenn. Glenn came off second best then. It was a very good job that Adam Blair was there. Westwood disentangles himself, plays the ball. This is Rangi Chase, shows it to a couple, fires the pass wide. Wilkin, Yeaman, Briscoe! England have the lead. It's a whole 1-2 down the left-hand side. Yeaman finds Briscoe, and Briscoe, well, he's done that so many times, hasn't he, for the black and whites here, and he's just given England the lead.
Well, that's the way to do it. Get them into the middle and then swing it out wide. And this guy, as we mentioned before the kickoff, Brian Hall, Tom Briscoe, the two wingers, they've been in superb form. And this is where earlier Westwood, look, they couldn't get to it. Scrambling about. Sinfield, we won. He has to go over. And then they decided, okay, we'll give it some air and watch the swing here. See how the Kiwis hesitate. He comes right out of the line to Simon Mannering. There may have been a slight, shall we say, deviation in the final pass. Is that an explanation of what's sometimes called a forward? It doesn't matter. England have owned the scoreboard. Slightly forward, maybe a little bit more than slightly, but it doesn't matter. It is being given.
It's all in the interpretation, Steve-O, and the touch judges and the referee quite happy. And you can't go upstairs to the video referee to question a forward pass.
Hey, listen, I'm happy. Don't worry about it.
This commentary, by the way, is not going to New Zealand. Our colleagues from Sky NZ are here. They're just in front of us. They're not happy. They're even less happy now because Sinfield has brought his kicking boots with him. 6-0.
Well, the Kiwi right edge defence badly exposed there, but that's not where the problem originated. Left-hand side, 4 men caught marking 2. That made a hell of a job for Simon Mannering. He chose to come in. Jason Nightingale didn't follow until too late. And all you people complaining about a try chopped off last week for Tom Briscoe, well, you've got one today.
We was robbed a week ago. We haven't been robbed tonight.
The scales of justice. It's an amazing thing, isn't it?
Oh.
I'd say about a metre, but look up on the scoreboard and look onto your screens. It says England 6 and the Kiwis Lott.
He did. There's another penalty that will relieve the pressure on England. They're a little indisciplined at times, these New Zealanders. But when you think about it, you know, Locke looks like he might be coming back into the fray. When you think about that alleged forward pass, the fact of the matter was that Yeaman was stopped dead in his tracks with the tackle after he'd passed it. So your dreaded momentum rule comes into play.
One, move, come back.
What's the say after that?
There's an England ahead 6-0. This is Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Well, the penalty count of 6-1 is another reason why England are ahead 6-0, and it's helping them. Can they go back-to-back here with another try?
You're right, Phil. Look, the indiscipline by the Kiwis is making them hurt.
Roby, Tompkins couldn't get the pass away. They're trying to slow Tompkins and England down in the tackle. Here is Sinfield attacking the line. Jamie Jones Buchanan. The ball is lost though.
That's always a problem with that short pass when you're going right into the defence. It's very close. Good work by Kieran Foran. Just lodged the ball away. Golden opportunity.
Well, miracles do happen for New Zealand. Kevin Lott looked like he's coming back. Bill.
Yeah, he's been to the dressing room. It's a jarred shoulder that was the problem. Left shoulder seems to have been the problem for Kevin Locke. He's been in the dressing room, he's had treatment, he's been on the sidelines to put him through all sorts of routines. They reckon he's ready for the fray. He's going back out there. But interestingly, they're also going to throw on very shortly Isaac Luke as well. So things might liven up out there.
Locke returns. Of course, this time last week, Australia had lost Billy Slater at Wembley and for the tournament with that dislocated shoulder.
Eddie, I caught a glimpse of his x-rays during the week. Billy Slater, he's made a mess of his shoulder trying to tackle Ryan Hall. It's he's had a significant operation, and I guess we'd wish him all the best recovery. He's
absolutely.
The player will be disappointed not to see more of Billy Slater in this tournament.
Very much so. You're absolutely right. I didn't know he had such good contacts in the medical world, Brian. I thought it was all very confidential, things like that. But obviously, Mr. Slater must have showed you them.
It is confidential. I wasn't meant to tell you.
Well, he only told a few others now. Don't worry. Great take by Tompkins.
And a couple of good runs upfield as well by the fullback Sam Tomlin. Just settled the nerves. Remember it. Bit of an error, bit of a mistake. Luckily for England, the Foran try was wiped off for offside. But this game of rugby league is a habit, you know, of possession and field position just changing around. It really has been in full control, England. But look at that scoreline. It's only 6 in front.
They are only 6 in front. A draw is no good. I'm tempting you to be calling for a drop goal here, Steve-O, for England at this early stage.
Long way to go, as I say. It's that went
Kevin Locke's first involvement since his return, and he's bemused, bothered and bewildered because he doesn't believe he has knocked on. But the camera never lies, Kevin.
Well, he was convinced that he went backwards, but that would be classified in any field.
What, you think that goes forwards?
That's not a knock on.
At worst, it goes sideways. At worst, it goes sideways.
Well, when I see the scrum go down, I think...
You can't say that's not a knock-on.
It's not a knock-on, Eddie. He doesn't knock the ball forward. Forward is towards your opponent's try line.
Well, I'm watching the scrum being formed, so that indicates to me that the official has said it's a knock-on. Whether we argue about it, this is important now. This is probably the most important part of this first half, is for England to make them suffer. If they've got a set pattern move, then bring it out now.
Reid has it. First receiver. 5 metres away, down he goes in the tackle. These are desperate moments for New Zealand. They could be crucial moments for England, with Westwood here. He just ducked underneath the swinging arm that was coming in then from Simon Mannering. Roby, and here is Rangi Chase. Rangi Chase then gives it to Sinfield. They've got men out wide. Wilkin. Oh, and they come in a group to hunt him and get him down, John Wilkin. There's Yeaman. Sinfield pops it up. Morley will drive it forward again.
This is where Rangi Chase should throw the double.
Graham is here! Graham might have got this down.
Mannering's underneath him.
Check this, please.
He wants this one checking out.
Tackle 5.
Mannering's saying no.
Just checking, mate.
Graham doesn't believe him, but boy, Mannering did exceptionally well here. I think they've stopped him. I think Mainwaring has done an absolute wonderful job underneath there.
Well, look where Graham's head is in relation to Mainwaring's body. Oh, now then.
Well, it's not conclusive, Eddie.
Benefit of the doubt.
Oh, look, I think I'm with Steve on this one. Simon Mainwaring does a great job to get his quad, his thigh, and then his elbow in a lock, and I think he's probably kept the ball off the ground from that angle.
You can't tell conclusively, can you, from these pictures?
No.
Well, the way
So does benefit of the doubt come into it?
Well, the way they're twisting his body around, maybe it could go against him. This is a big call for Ian Smith.
Fantastic technique by Simon Mainwaring. You have to be brave to do it, but you've also got to be smart in the milliseconds of time he has to get his body into this position and prevent James Graham from grounding it.
It's the left thigh that Ian Smith has been looking at. This is a big call.
Right. You would say that it's probably landed up onto the thigh of
I think it
Simon
landed
Mainwaring.
on his leg, didn't it, and went up the body.
I think there's enough to say that he's defended that brilliantly and kept James Graham out.
Well, I think there'll be no try.
Well, it's Ian Smith's version that matters. He agrees with you. It's the last tackle then, and Graham, of course, is the man who must play the ball 10 metres away.
Kick in the in-goal area. Get the second set of 6.
Kick is clear.
Sinfield's gone wide looking for Ryan Hall, and all he does is find Lewis Brown. England, though, looking to force him over the line, get a goal line dropout.
Well, I'll tell you what, England will be happy with what they're doing to Australia on the edges. They're peeling them short in numbers. Every time they shift the ball out wide, New Zealand, look very, very vulnerable out wide. England have got numbers in good position, and I think they've got more tries in them out there.
Simon.
Well, the Kiwis must be wondering when on earth they're going to get into the opposition half. I can count on 2 occasions where they've had that opportunity to give you some indication how well the English team has defended.
It's been all England. The
Yep.
possession has been very much in their favour, as you can see from possession in opposition half, 10-3. But the important stat is 6-0. And this lot are dangerous.
Dude, Jamie now!
It's Kevin Locke on halfway.
You'll be
Plays the
happy.
ball to Isaac Luke.
Saying Stephen Kearney will be happy that he's got the talented full back in. Whether he's 100%, well, that'll be interesting. And that's the type of thing that they want. They knew it was going to be a big battle. They're very good friends off the field of play, Marshall and Chase.
Played in the same schoolboys team, or certainly went to the same team, but they are anything but best of friends here. This is Isaac Luke, though, and Isaac Luke pushes the foot to the floor, and Tamkins gets to him and brings him down.
First real break that we've seen it. And Isaac Luke is the man that's done it. It's a beautiful chip.
And Graham has managed to hang on to it somehow.
And I think he's put it down as a knock-on. Graham has lost control. He's confused. On the outside of the boot. Yeah, that's a knock-on. He had no control of that.
You know, teams used to cause their opponents trouble by switching the direction of play with a pass. Now they do it with a kick to make it that little bit quicker. James Graham was in position here now, but it's England's turn again to defend that try line. The referee said there was a knock-on. Kieran Foran, very difficult thing, isn't it, when your body is going in one direction, to accurately kick the ball back in another direction and placing it there exactly where he wanted it to land.
It's important now that the England defence, nobody comes out of the line. This is man-on-man marking. Forget about the sliding defence. They're too close. They've got to make sure they pick out the man. Do not come out of it. There you see, he completely loses control as a big fella, James Graham.
Well, we talked about a very important moment at the other end just a few seconds ago. This is another big play for both of these teams, and this is Nightingale, and England have to defend their line here.
Go. Yeah, mate.
Marshall helps it on to Foran. He then gives it to Gerard Waria-Hargreaves, who tries to spin away from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. James Graham in as well to bring him down. It's with Foran once more.
That's all right. 3. Clear him now.
That's Mainwaring, and Luke is waiting. Isaac Luke! England get to him, but he gets to within a metre of the line. Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Kevin Sinfield, the tacklers. Mainwaring again at dummy half. Here's Jeremy Smith. Tries to get away from Morley. Can't do so. That's the last one. 6-7 metres maybe away from the line. Foran and Marshall. Bullet pass wide. Forward anyway.
Yeah, and it was too strong. But Stephen Kearney will be very much disappointed with that. He knows they've had very few opportunities.
Off the ball.
He was virtually out of the field of play when the ball came to him. Drifting forward anyway, well seen on this occasion by the official.
Hold, boys. Hold, no earlies.
Benji Marshall, 100 points for New Zealand now, with his 4th goal last week. And leading his team with distinction again in this tournament. The Golden Boot winner 2010, the World Player of the Year. Now then, 2 minutes away from half-time. Hall plays the ball here to Yeaman.
This is where England can take a gamble, you know. I think the Kiwis will be looking towards that half-time siren, and this just drop off in the intensity in defence. Not the best kick, though.
It was easy for Locke. This is Nightingale. Nightingale puts Westwood on his backside. Graham and Yeaman are in there. Solid England defence. Lewis Brown, no way through for him. Referee shouts that tackle is held. England must release him. Mannering dummy half.
Well, this is one of the few occasions, Eddie, where the Kiwis have actually controlled things, got back into the opposition half, and quite happy to take it down the middle. Surely the link will be on now. Benji Marshall drifting out to the right.
Isaac Luke goes that way with Marshall. And they went without it, did Sika Manu. And here comes Tompkins on the reply. And Tompkins! Oh, he just couldn't get the ball. Oh, he's held on to it, has he?
He said it's come off, I think it came off a Kiwi body, and he regained it before it hit the ground. Well, surely that's still classified as a knock-on. Boy, they're looking to get away with that. He certainly lost control, did Tompkins. There it is, and it...
Oh, well, maybe it didn't touch anybody.
Either way.
He managed to hang on to it, Tompkins. As we approach half-time.
That was a high shot as well. The Ria Hargraves and James Graham knew it.
Felt that, didn't he? Chase, a little dummy. Important tackle by Isaac Luke. 5 seconds away from
he's done his knee. He could have done his knee, Rangi Chase. Not only has he prevented a try, because Chase would have had the speed. Oh, and there's been a bit of a back slap there. And they didn't like the fact, I think they're claiming that Isaac Luke has twisted the leg after the tackle was completed, and he's not happy, is Mr. Chase. I just got the impression that something went on after the man had been tackled. This is the tackle. He goes down and he twists it. Oh, that should be a penalty, and he should be sent off for that. I'm sorry. He's done the right thing by tackling the man, preventing the try. This has surely got to be on report. A defenceless player.
Control your players, mate. They're coming in. There's too much of it. Well, no.
Have a look.
You go into a tackle like that, you've intent to hurt the player on the ground by twisting the leg. It's on report, no more.
Well, he is treading a very fine line, Isaac Luke, because he was involved. Isaac Luke was involved in that alleged cannonball tackle, you may remember, on David Shillington in the opening match of this tournament against Australia at Warrington, and the disciplinary committee will have a look at that this week. There's a couple of things then gone on report for New Zealand, but Kevin Sinfield will kick for 2 here because the half-time siren's gone.
The game is tough enough without having to do that. It's a cheap shot. I hate to see it. You can see it here. He did everything right. You had to congratulate him for doing the tackle, and then that, well, I'd just send him straight off, because surely the touch judge would have seen that.
Well, the video referee must have seen it. Everyone's seen it now. The whole incident is now on report, so they've obviously have seen it, Steve-o. Steve McNamara looks quite concerned.
We may lose a player.
He's still out there, to be fair, Rangi Chase. There he is, but he was less than impressed, was he, with the tackle that Isaac Luke made on him. And Luke now is on report. Now, this goal important for tonight for 8-0 for England, but it would be the 50th successful kick for Kevin Sinfield at international level for both Great Britain and England. 39 so far for England, 10 for Britain. This for an 8-0 lead. Sinfield has kicked it, and England lead 8-0. Half-time at the KC Stadium. England have dominated possession, and they lead on the scoreboard by 8 points to nil. The Kiwis have got a couple of men on report.